How you guys doing today? I'm Taylor. As Chief mentioned, I was in class 31, same position as you guys right now, sitting, just anxiously trying to get into IT, working in IT life, working in corporate, business suit, working 9 to 5 hours, the good stuff. Correct. One thing I've noticed as I encounter, as I was growing, going through these corporations, nonprofit and profit, is a balance between. It's one of the main things a lot of people struggle with, especially dealing with work and their personal life. I find it very imperative that everyone should have a balance between work and life to make you an exceptional candidate. Doing so, you have to find stuff that interests you, what you like to do, without it affecting the work lifestyle. For me, it wasn't easy at first, adjusting to work-life balance. I never did it before, and where I found out was just by copying my co-workers that I seen doing so. And I did more research to it. So that's the reason why I wanted to do a presentation on work-life balance. So what is work-life balance?
It's between time management, between how you divide your work, and then they're not included in your personal life.
Anyone else want to give a shot? Come on, there's no absolute answer. You go ahead.
I guess how you balance. How you balance the work and life, but also how you don't let your work also become your life.
Right. All right. Anyone else? One more.
I think it's like you set time for what you want versus what you need.
Exactly. Right. So really, I just got this from Wikipedia. But what it means, doesn't mean being home watching a favorite TV show, work hours, spending to, work at the gym most of the days. Juggling between the two can be very difficult, and trying to find the right time to do things, it's like trying to find a needle in a haystack, So that's why I've always asked people what it means to you. Define what it means for you. Everyone has a different meaning. It's a little hot here, so excuse me, but everyone has a different meaning of how they view work-life balance. Anything that interests you outside of work, you're able to incorporate that in your everyday lifestyle while you're able to complete your work is, the best way you can aim for. One thing that I learned too is just basically finding things that makes you happy in life, so that it doesn't affect your emotional state or your mental state, because that's very important when it comes to work every day. Because your challenge early is at 8 o'clock. You'll have a meeting. They'll need you to resolve this issue. From yesterday, you had an ongoing, let's say something personal, something work effective, and it stayed with you until the next day. And you're not able to cooperate with others because of that previous day. So, this is a dictionary. This is the term to describe balance individually between time allocated for work and other aspects. Areas of life other than work can be not limited to personal interests, family, social, or leisure activities. So it basically means, all right, you dedicated 9 to 5 to this work. Now you stop doing so. Now you might do some martial arts, or you may do some computer building, or you may do some networking. Something that also interests you, also to work with you in your work life. It's a little funny picture of that. So one thing I noticed, a lot of people try to be the top performer. Working extra hours, putting overtime. No, it's not. It is ideal to, do your best. You want to make sure your manager or whoever is acknowledging you, especially all the work that you're putting in. But you got to realize you'll burn yourself out. Burning yourself out is not the best way to go. And if you burn yourself out, how are you able to perform the next day? You got to find a balance in between. This is what I got from one of Forbes. You have people, 94% work professionals, reported working more than 50 hours. I did this for myself. I actually worked 60 hours in 1 week. I was working 9 to 5, and then I started at night working at 9 to 4 a.m. in the morning. What is that? It just happens. That's in IT, and I'm in operations, I'm system admin. So things like that, you're gonna get, but you just have to learn how to work it out, find a way, talk to your manager, compensate for the day that you work. Work around it. I couldn't make this look brighter, but this is basically useful tips for achieving and making work-life balance. Let go of perfection, as I said. Instead of trying to be a perfect candidate, strive for being an excellent. You know, being on time. If you can't be on time, let the person know ahead of time. I won't be able to be there. This is being communicated. A lot of people look into that. Stop trying to, be the top best performer. You just want to show that you're able to do your work and do it diligently, and just make sure you focus one thing at a time. Other people can multitask. If you can, do so. But make sure you're able to work around it, and just try not to be the next person. Just be yourself. Exercise and meditate. Exercise and meditate is essential in your lifestyle. Just working out, releasing those endorphins in your mind, helps you to think a lot better. Gives you a clearer perspective from certain things and how you view certain objects. Just meditation allows you to reset yourself, like a computer. You reset it, it comes back brand new. Why don't we reset ourselves? So meditation, I find that very important. I do so when I practice martial arts. We meditate after a long day of practicing, probably for like 10 minutes or so. And after, you come back brand new. It's not gonna be like 1, 2, 3, I'm gonna meditate, I'm gonna fold my legs up, and I'm gonna get it. No, it takes time. You gotta breathe, you gotta find the fundamentals, find the focus on what you do. Because meditation doesn't mean you gotta sit in the stance and close your eyes and praise and say certain words. No, it's just finding a certain focus and then focusing on one thing. And once you find that focus, you'll see the results of it. Solely focusing on one thing and achieving it to the highest ability. Unplug. All of us, unplug. In today's world, with modern technology, cell phones, communicating and everything, use of cell phones are very high, and we basically are around technology all of our lives, social media now. Unplug yourself. Give it 30 minutes. Don't even have to look at Facebook or turn off your computer, turn off your phone. Just, go outside, take a long walk. Talk to some friends of yours. Not over social media, not over text, in person. Get out there. Be more of a human, go back into those, times where we used to communicate with the use of technology. This will allow you to, again, you still feel connected to people, and you'll still be able to understand the morality of just, all right, unplugging myself is useful because I'm not so dependent on technology. I'm dependent on my own natural resources and my ability to get out there. You'll find a very, unique skill in doing so. Prioritize your time. I don't know how many times I have to tell people that, but you need to prioritize your time depending on the urgency in the work that you get. Sometimes you may get an urgent task that you have to get done, and I probably put in quotes, everything is urgent in corporate. So you just gotta find the things that's just, all right, what is urgent, depending on the email, what's being requested, who's it coming from. All those are key points to making sure that, all right, this email or this task I have to complete, I make sure I must do it. And just prioritizing work. To the most important, to the very least important, at the bottom list, which we all know that's not going to really happen, because everyone's going to try to rush things, get things done, always wants to, oh, can you do this for me, can you do this for me, can you do this for me, especially when you go to a person. I experienced that a lot, so it's not really cool. And last, do what you love. When you finish doing Npower, when you finish, doing studying or whatever, do whatever interests you. Like I said, find a time to make yourself happy. This will result in a good character. You develop, how can I say, you're just compassionate, about certain things. Even just the fact that you're doing what you love the most, nothing can really affect you, because that was really, what you always wanted to do. So always, for me, if it's not, watching anime or probably just drawing, those designs and stuff, I'm probably, doing some IT building or whatever, just something that I like to do outside of work. So, this is the advantages and of employee and business. Basically, what happens when, you start to incorporate the work-life balance. Your increased productivity. You start to do a lot more work than you noticed before. Why? Because you have balance now. You know what not to affect you, you know what's going to affect you. So now you're able to give more. Lower asceticism. Basically, you don't have no reason to call out. You know what I mean? I'm at work, I have things after work, but I already know I have planned and set. What's the reason to call to be absent? Everything is balanced, there's no call for it. a more positive perception as an employer. You know, you start to view things differently, as I said. You know, with the balance, you know, you start to talk to people a lot easier. Your personality changes up. You know, you're more of a people person, depending on how your personality is. And just overall, you're just more optimistic. You know, so just being more positive of how you view things will change once you start doing these practices. And improvement of health and well-being. And of course, you know, doing that, reduce stress. Stress is the number one factor that causes death, you know, with a lot of families, especially young individuals. I seen somebody while I was working had a stroke attack at work, you know, because it was overstressed, working over amount of hours, 50 hours. They didn't breathe, they didn't take the time to just give themselves, you know, a breaker. You always constantly work. They had a stroke. And that's also because of other health, you know, problems that the person experienced too, but just the work was one of the big factors. And look, ambulance came, it was like a big thing, but of course, you know, at the end result, it was like, yeah, he did like 60 hours last week, and now he's doing like 15 right now. It was only the second day. So, you can imagine. Business. It boosts business competitiveness. Basically, you know, with you being a good employee, the business will basically become a better, you know, job as far as its work, its statistic-wise, and just its productivity as far as customers and coming back because they're having a strong team. You know, with that strong team, I mean, anything is possible, of course, right? Meet seasonal peaks and toughness in business. You have tax season, you know, you have certain holidays. Those things are very, very big when it comes to like dealing with numerous of just audit reports, taxes and all. That's where a lot of customers comes in and do a lot of requests. In those times, you just want to basically be, you want to be more of like adjusting to, you know, what's important. Again, like prioritize your time to the one that's least important. You know, you will find your way around it when it's like during the holiday season, tax season. Again, you just develop your own way of how to balance and stuff. And last, better teamwork and communication. Of course, at the end, with you being a better person, you know, everyone else around you start to really acknowledge it, and things start to be a lot easier. You have a more clear perspective of things. Teamwork is a lot better for you, and of course, you know, it became a well-rounded player. This is a little fun thing, stay positive, be happy. You know, you may have a little, you know, you have groups of people in you that have a little sad face or emotional, but since you now have a balance, nothing can affect you. You know, you already know how to deal with these type of, you know, external forces or whatever's affecting you, because internally, you're staying happy, you know. You're able to do what you want to do the most, and able to complete your work at a convenient time frame. And that's all. Anyone have any questions?
How do you stay consistent with your work-life balance?
How do I stay consistent? Basically, I just find the time and place. Because, you know, today, whereas I have to do school after this, like from 5 to 9, you know, I speak with my team, I work with them, I give them my schedule, and basically after, when I finish school, I'm able to at least fit in, you know, a little meditation. I probably just read something, a book, or something that interests me at the end of the day, where it just takes my mind off everything else, and I'm solely focused on one thing. And then by next day, you know, I'm relieved. Or just sometimes, you know, when I used to commute from Jersey to Brooklyn, I had to take a 2-hour coach bus. Doing that, you know, I used to just sit on there and just go into a deep sleep state. Just clear my mind, think about everything that happened earlier, and then I just realized when I get to the end of the stop, I'm relieved. Work didn't really affect me.
You currently work at KPMG. How did you get there? Did you get there through Npower, or like did you find a different route?
Yeah, so I got through Npower. That was just like, you know, just a long journey for me, because I did a nonprofit at what's this, CEO, Career Employment Opportunities. That's where they help like convicts, ex-convicts, help get jobs, you know, help them placement programs. I was just working on the IT side of that. I did that for a few months. They tried to extend it. I already got a contract while we had technology, so I started doing field work now. So I went from being a system admin to a field technician.
That's a video.
With that, I did that for a few months. The project was on and off, but I was just always focusing on, bettering myself and striving for more. So stay connected with Npower. Work other jobs as far as Foot Locker. I did that for a year, and then that's when Npower had the semantic program. I did the pilot program, hoping to land a position in some type of corporate area. Patrick Cohen came in at the time, and he basically stood in front of the class and asked who wants to intern at Npower. I looked at everybody, everyone looked at each other, no one raised their hand. I was like, I'll do it. He was like, all right, it's in New Jersey, Mountville, it's in travel, it's a community. I'm like, really? No problem. I'm Jamaican, I'll travel. I'm what I mean? I'm a trooper. So I went there, I didn't realize how far it was. It was actually like, when I first went there, I was like 3 hours. I took the local bus. It's all a learning experience, So I was like, all right, yeah, I'll go for it. He was like, cool. You got an interview with Gary Belletti. He's the director at Npower for security. He was like, so you have a meeting with them? A phone interview. I'm like, all right, cool. Had a phone interview. Cool, we chat, exchanging some words. All right, I want to meet you in person now. You have a cool personality. I like you. Let's have a chat. All right, so we scheduled a meeting in Montville. I'm like, all right, how the hell I get to Montville? Research, you look it up. So I looked it up. All right, Montville, 3 Chestnut Ridge Road. Gotta take this bus, gotta take this train. Cool, I gotta wake up at 6 o'clock. Got up at 6, got ready, got my food, everything's prepped. Left out the house by 6:30. Getting by the Port Authority now. Now, this is where it's funny because I asked the ticket booth lady, I asked them, I'm trying to go to Montville 3 Chestnut Ridge Road, and I have the ticket, please. She gave me a local ticket for a local bus into Montville. Now I'm on the bus for at least now for like 2.5 hours trying to get to Montville. I had to call Gary like, hey, I'm going to arrive there late, just letting you know ahead of time. I get to, some type of distant location where I'm totally off from where I'm supposed to be at. I called him again, I let him know. He was like, oh, you off the grid, like you're like 20 miles away from me. I'll come get you. So it's like a blessing in disguise. When you can't get me, you can drop the BMW. I love cars, and I like BMWs. So it's able to, talk towards that car. We had shared some similarities. Once we got to the building, he was like, well, we already have a meeting in the car. I have 2 other of my colleagues I want to interview. I was like, 2 more? All right, cool. So I came prepared. I had my notes and everything ready. And when I went in, there's 2 more people. We had another half an hour meeting. After I left, I kid you not, I'm on the bus. I'm going back to Npower. I get a call from one of the Npower assistants, and they're saying, hey, Cape you just call back. They want you as an intern. I was like, what? He was like, yeah, they want you to start ASAP. I was like, all right, cool, I'm in. So I was like one of the greatest news I heard. And ever since then, I went in, I grind, I went to everybody like a newcomer. Hi, I'm Tafari, I'm from Npower. Hi, I'm Tafari, I'm from Npower. Nice to meet you. Get my face familiarized because I want them to know I'm gonna be here. So, I just say hello to everyone, getting used to it, getting well known with the faces. I'm not good with names, but faces I am. Eventually I did it. So, did the internship for a few months. It came to now, it was like, all right, now we're gonna hire, or we're gonna basically extend your internship. So one thing was the security team right now was basically at a state where they were more like they were basically growing, like the infant state. So they were still growing, still developing, and they need more strong candidates like who actually knows work and experience. Which was no offense to my work, it's just that I was coming in as a novice level. And because of the way things were going, they need people who could catch up, go to speed and all. So, okay, all right. But because I made a good relationship with the HR, she was like, hey Tafari, she called me back. She was like, everyone love you, they like your work ethics, we can't resist you, so we're gonna give you an offer for system admin. Would you be interested? I was like, system admin, offer? Sign me up, I'm not hesitant, I'm not gonna throw that away. That's an offer you can't refuse. And I took it. And ever since then, I've been there for now, just coming June, I'll be there for 4 years now as a system admin. I got a promotion in between, gained certifications, a lot of networking, got a few colleagues, and now I'm here speaking to you guys.
Pardon me to interrupt you, but about that promotion you're talking about, we checked your LinkedIn profile, right? And it showed, it showed that promotion, right? But then you went down a notch. Like what happened there? Like it shows like you're a senior level.
So that's the thing about KPMG. It's like it's a tax and audit firm. I work in the IT side, right? So the way they start is like the first level, the very first level is basically, if not associates, something. I don't know, right? And then it's it's representative. Sorry, it's representative, like a representative company. Then you have senior representative.
Yeah.
That's where they put me at. At that time, I was already getting paid. I didn't care. I was getting like 50 hours. You do the math. You know what I mean? I was getting a well decent pay. After all, they realized how many hours I was putting in. It was like, all right. You know what? Let's get this guy offer. Let's promote him. He's doing extremely well. And that's when I went to associate. So that's when I went from senior representative to associate now.
Okay.
So that's where the growth comes in. Right now, there's been some shortage, some unfortunate news with certain businesses and how things are going right now. But at this moment, I am working on getting promoted, moving to a new team eventually, probably going to security or forensics, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Anyone?
Yeah, I have a question. So, in a big corporate environment like that, how do you stay away from negative people who are gonna, mess up your positive outlook? Also, how do you not take work home with you?
All right. So, first question is, how do I deal with negative people? I just ignore them. Really, I just, I do it in the most professional way. You know what I mean? Like, try not to show any emotions within it. And also, I would like CC my manager and all to show like, hey, this person is doing so what and what. Just letting you know. But yeah, I don't let the things affect me. People who get mad at you every day. You just gotta learn how to just brush it off. Because if you let that person stir it up, then you're gonna be bothered for the whole day. The next person comes to you with their issue, you're gonna be like, oh, why are you complaining? Then it's an ongoing, like cycle. So you don't want to get into that. Sometimes just ignore it. It's not always the best because they may, it may come off like, all right, you're not, acknowledging what you're doing. So try as best to work with the person and work with best to make you comfortable. So you had a question? And I forgot, the last question was how do I avoid taking work from home?
No, taking work home with you.
So in IT, I mean, as far as system admin, you have work sometimes, doing at home. You just can't resist. Other times, you just don't have to do work at all, where, you just completely isolate yourself from it. Don't turn your laptop, don't do anything, Just stay away, because if you get on, somebody's gonna see your IM green, they're gonna contact you, hey, can you look into this issue? And then, you're caught up now. So if you don't have no work, don't look for any work, just keep it like that and just wait for the next day.
Yeah, it was basically his question. Like, how do you deal also with like demanding employers? When it comes to
Oh yeah, you can have a lot.
sometimes it's they will ask more of you because you're just an intern,
Right.
and a lot of the time that can affect your personal mood.
So
and
right. So I'm sorry, you finished?
Yeah.
Okay, so when I learned as an intern, depending on where you're going, sometimes they give you the access to certain things, sometimes they don't give you no access at all. Whereas, you have to speak up and, want more to work. You have to, want the work. For me, sometimes when people go into you and demanding things, yeah, let them demand, let them go on, let them, because you have work. Like I said, you have to prioritize yourself. If you're doing work and it's very important, let them work, let them quarrel. They're gonna, your manager's gonna deal with it because they realize, hey, he's busy, he's doing something. If it's something important, talk to me. I will work with you. I'll get somebody else to assist you with it. But right now, he's busy, and that's because you're being proactive and letting them know, hey, I have this to do. If anyone comes, he was like, don't worry, I'll work with you, and this is how you keep a balance. You gotta find ways to make yourself comfortable and not let others affect you. Anyone else have those two?
What's the hardest part of your job?
What's the hardest part of my job? I mean, everything is hard, but I guess the hardest part of my job is just, I never thought about that, honestly. But what I can say the hardest part is just, alright, here's a good question. Dealing with people that know, they claim they know the work, but they don't.
oh, yeah.
So when you have to deal with somebody who will know it all, and they want to direct you and show you this error, but you know exactly what they're doing, that's very, very like annoying, agitating. Just like, all right, just stop completely. Just recently, I'm gonna give you guys an inside scoop. Just recently, they hired some contractors for build team. Now they basically leverage all their responsibilities from my team to that team, to do the work only because of the amount of work we're getting and because we're low manpower. Now, these guys, they have no Linux experience at all. Like, they claim they know Linux, oh yeah, we did this, we did data migration, we do file storage and all, yeah, okay, cool. Now we get to the command line prompt, the command line prompt is, so we get there to CLI and we're like, all right, show me what's the error. The guy's typing, this command not working. This is a command. I'm like, what are you doing? That's not how you show the command. I'm like, type this and you'll get this, he's trying to see the storage allocation or how much storage he has. So in Linux and Red Hat, the df-h, display file system and human readable viewing, right? The H's are flat. So basically when you do df-h, you show you all the file systems and you see, what the capacity of everything, over capacity is low, whatnot. So I'm like, you can't really show me that command. In the back of my mind, I'm there like banging my head on my head because it's like something simple like that you can do and you're on the build team, this is gonna be, pandemonium. So that's one of the craziest things. Oh, sorry, I have one more.
Okay, so you work at least 4 different companies by now.
Yeah.
Has the different company culture affected your work-life balance?
Different right, working at different companies?
Yeah.
Actually, no, because in each company you learn something new. You actually pick up a type of skill or something new about yourself. Because every job or every company you work at is different. So then you start to adapt to it, and that adaptation, you develop new skills where you carry on to somewhere else. Like for me, when I worked at Foot Locker, I was shy. I was not able to talk to anybody. Right now, I would not be able to talk to you in front of everyone without, gaining that communication skill, being a people person, talk to you straight up. That was the main thing in Foot Locker. You have to sell the sneakers. So you have somebody come to like, hey, how you doing? How you guys doing? Well, sneakers, you want to buy? You got to look good? Okay, good. Talk to me when you're done. All right. I had to develop that, because doing that allowed me to now I can speak to somebody, send them an email, even the CEO, whoever. I don't care. You know what I mean? A title doesn't mean anything to me. If I have a question, I'm gonna ask you. Appreciate it. So, and one more.
Yeah, it was just that. How did you deal with that? With that situation. You said that these, they're supposed to, it's a contract work.
Right.
They're supposed to know their job. Like, who do you take it up? Do you take it up to your boss, and what does your boss say?
So
how do they assess
I should say take it up to my boss. Certain things you just don't want to, agitate your boss and annoy them like, hey, this person know their work. Sometimes you have to handle things in your own manner just to show that you're responsible and grow. So I'm like, okay, all right. The person doesn't know what they're doing, right? On our job, we have a centralized key documentation. It's basically we're all documentation of like how to do certain things, of run books and whatnot. You could say it's like a manual of computers. You know what I mean? So everything is thrown in there, right? I tell them simply, if you don't know how to build something, go to Kiki, reference them to something. Or I give them a reference link that I have previously that I used to look upon. Do this or do that. If you have something that's still not working, then come back and talk to me. You know what I mean? You work, like you said, you work your way around it and you find things, that is able to assist the person and able to help you out. Because at the end of the day, it's all about yourself. And if yourself is not, in a well-being state, then how can you, be at 100%?
So what would you do, like, you got a job but you did not know how to work it, like, let's say.
Right. Okay, so I see what you're saying. Basically, you get something where you don't know what the job is or how to do the work, how to execute.
Yeah.
Speak up. Just let them know. I don't know how to do this. Rather than showing that you, oh yeah, I know how to do this.
No, I think you misunderstood my question. So let's say I get a job for system admin.
Okay.
In the future, but I don't know how a system admin works. But like I want to apply for the position, so I can learn. So do they teach you how to do this stuff, or you gotta be like go to the books yourself?
So that's all you have to all do that on your own. Like if you want something, you have to work on yourself and improve yourself. So what is a system admin? You know what I mean? Find the responsibilities of what the system admin do. Then, work towards doing so. One of the first steps of, if you want to go into system admin, like help desk is actually like the entry level how to get there, because help desk is dealing with everyday issues, different types of people on a day-to-day basis. You're dealing with a ticketing system. And that's some way we deal with that, but we're like a level 2 type of admins where we come in where we need to assist, the level 1s or so. Or we're like level 3s, we're 2 and 1, you know what I mean? But yeah, you have to go out there and teach yourself, get up to speed. When I got the position, the only thing I knew was just like Linux from a security perspective and just my way around it. So it was like, all right, I got the system admin. I gotta teach myself, you know what I mean? So I started downloading, you know, how to do this, system admin, you know, Red Hat Linux system admin. I started reading. I had my, I forgot his name. He's one of the book writers that wrote the RHEL 7 or RHCE and the system admin book. Atagori, I believe his name is. But you know, I read the manual books on how to, you know, learn system admin, and I got up to speed dealing with, you know, issues on the day to day. I was by myself. I didn't really have the assistance. I had my manager, but he had work to do too. So just gotta learn how to fit everything into your, you know, your schedule.
They didn't provide any like formal training to help you out.
Oh yeah, definitely. They definitely want you to grow. They want you to be the best you can be and the top candidate. So they, you know, advise you take more training. You know, learn more, acquire more skills. At my job, at my company, we have this K-Tech learning where you could go in and apply for certain, you know, training. If you want to learn Splunk, if you want to learn Azure, if you want to learn data migration, you know, they have links to certain, you know, boot camps or just, you know, walking. You could go in and actually take like a day of exam or so. You know, it's available. Certain companies offer those type of unique perks. So ask, reach out, you know.
Jafari, thank you so much for coming out. It's
No problem, man.
you know, it's really empowering to see like past alum come in here and show so much progress in time. One of my questions was from the previous guest lecture. They said that companies now are implementing ITSM upon their employees, so they're looking for employees to like manage their profits as well as customer relationships. So I see that your position in KPMG is very technical.
Right.
So like, do you have so like as you're progressing, and I also see that you also lost a couple of customers from the beginning. So like, is your employer like pushing that movement to like marginalize profit?
So in that space where we deal with the customer and business engagements and all, we don't really handle that. We just basically the operation. We just worry about the, you know, all right, what do you need? All right, we go there with them. We're the engineers. The ones that deal with the business on the outside, they're the ones who deal with the engagement in the team. Now, it may come where you're not able to, you know, get things done in a timely manner, and things may be postponed. Just being proactive, sending emails to those and letting them know ahead of time, like, hey, this is going to happen. Unfortunately, we hit a milestone, or we got a roadblock. Please let the customers know. Of course, you may lose some money, that happens in the way of work, but the main thing is you get the work done. So there's not really, you know, best way to think is just, you know, finding the little loopholes, the things that you could tighten up to make things a lot easier and sufficient so that you don't lose time or money or profit for the customers and for the business. Any more questions or do two more then?
Yeah, I see currently on your LinkedIn you're going to college. Like you're
Yeah.
currently going to college.
Right.
Before you got into KPMG, did you go to college before? Did you have a
So,
degree?
funny thing is, I was in college too back in 2011. I rushed after I graduated high school. You know, the whole thing about go to college and all things. So, I was like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna go to college. Cool. I didn't have no assistance or guidance in doing so. So, I had the worst schedule. I literally had a morning class, and the gap between I had an evening class. Not the best thing to do. I was at City Tech. I was doing electrical engineering. That's another thing that I like to do. And it didn't work out for me, so I dropped. You know, I didn't realize, you know, what I was getting myself into, but I knew I wasn't comfortable and I just didn't like it. So I completely just dropped out. I didn't know you have to withdraw. Again, I'm 18, so I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm like, all right, whatever. And then, you know, I was working at KFC at the time, so, you know, and then, you know, I was like, all right, I want to secure my credentials, I want to secure my work, and, you know, just definitely move up in the field, because I see myself moving up higher, either still in the KPMG or even better, you know what I mean? I always see myself higher than what I'm currently at right now. That's how I always reject myself, and that's how I've always been able to achieve and able to grow. So, yeah, I was like, all right, last year, I was like, you know what, let me go back in school and get what I gotta get. So, I tried to go to John Jay. They looked at my transcript. It was like, you got 0, you dropped and everything. Nah, sorry, can't do nothing for you. I was like, all right, they're like, go to BMCC or one of those community colleges. They'll help you out. You know, they'll work with you. I'm like, all right, cool. I go to BMCC. Right after that, they told me that I'm not playing. I'm really going to get my, working on getting my degree. I went to BMCC, spoke with the program advisor. Sorry, can't help you. Your GPA is too low. You gotta have to go to Kingsborough. I was like, what? Kingsborough? That was like, the bottom of the bottom. I was like, no offense, but it's just like a far commute for me. It's too far, and I'm like, you know what? All right, cool. So I went to Kingsborough and I enrolled. Just completed 1 year so far. Currently, I'm doing pretty well. I can do a lot better. I went from a 0 now to 3.1. So. And I'm striving for higher, you know what I mean? And I got 3 classes right now. I got computer, I got English, and I have history on Sundays. And it's going pretty well. I'm glad I made this turn. Now I'm just doing work and I'm doing school, balancing between the two. Sometimes me a little off days, but that's just the way how it is. Just work around it. And I wouldn't change it for the best. So, yeah.
Going back to that, at KPMG, when you got the job offer, like, this was before you went back to college. It really said nothing about, like, you not having a college education.
Nah, so that's the thing. A lot of businesses, especially in IT, not trying to say don't get your degree, but they don't really look towards degree as much as far as your skill set and the people person. So develop your skills, make sure you own it, become a master. I remember I had a guest speaker from one of the guys that was in one of the hacker groups. I forgot what's the group name. It's the infamous hacker group with the faces all anonymous, right? So anonymous, one of the guys that came in, Hector. I don't know if you've ever seen him before. He actually came and spoke to our class, and one thing I took from him, he's like, own your skill, become a master of it. No one can take that away from you. So right now I'm teaching myself Python, getting up to speed and all, because I don't see myself doing system admin. Like, that's not what I came to do. I was doing security, and I'm gonna get back into it some way, somehow. I'm doing some type of, writing, scripts, security, scripts to, enable certain security modules, you know what I mean? Or I'm doing like Python scripts to ensure, certain security measures are in place and all. I'm just, trying to find something uniquely where I'm just focusing on one thing and not worrying about, the other things.
Alright, so, now you're talking about Python, so I want to talk to you about that. So I'm also going to studying coding in my college, and that's my major at the moment. So I want to ask if you have ever in KPMG or in the classes, how do you interact with Python or is it a difficult thing for you, or what you call it, is it harder than the service?
So for me, it's actually, since I see it almost every day in IT, viewing certain application deployments that use Python, I'm actually connecting the dots. I see where things are working now, so now I'm actually to get up to speed with it. So just being more interacting, experienced with it is how I was able to learn, and just dedicating time. What this variable do compared to this? Oh, this is a result of it. Cool. All right. So if I put echo here with semicolons and close and save, then I type the command, it's gonna echo out this. Awesome. It's like first level basics though, but as you get more into it and start doing things outside of it, you realize, it's not really hard. It's really easy.
So follow-up question. Sorry.
Right.
You call it. So now, if you go to KPMG and you tell them you have learned Python, because I've learned different types of languages.